Okay, this is a what's going on in this connection reading. This is between a Taurus and a Pisces, and I will say, just astrologically speaking, Taurus and Pisces are very drawn to each other. I'm a Pisces. Most of the people that I've dated are Taurus. Astrologically, they're a really good fit. Some signs you're going to go with better than others, and Taurus go really well with Pisces. So there was a lot of magnetism to this connection, and that can just be that Taurus-Pisces energy. But here's the specific questions that I asked the cards. So I pulled, what was she learning in the connection? Okay. What was it that you're learning in the connection? What was this connection actually about? Then I asked if this is a cutting cord situation or an unfinished business type situation. And then what specifically is evolving for you? Not having anything to do with this connection. So what's evolving or coming or revealing itself for you in the future or near future? All right. So let's start with what she was learning in the connection. So first of all, to start off with, she did have very high attraction for you. This Ace of Wands, when you get this in a love connection, this is somebody that has a lot of passion. They have high attraction. And she's got the Chariot next to it. So it may have been a kind of situation where, she just thought you were the shit and she decided to go for it. Because these together can mean it's like a pursuing energy, really. But it's like, oh, wow, I want that. And you go for it. But what was she learning in this connection? She was learning to speak up for herself and cut out things that don't serve her. And this connection was the ending of a cycle for her. So sometimes we have patterns that come from our childhood and they are then repeated in our romantic relationships. So this connection that she had with you made her end a pattern that she's had since childhood. And that pattern may have been about her. Sometimes in childhood, we learn that we don't have any needs or that we can't speak up for our needs. It was that kind of energy. She was speaking up about hurt and pain that was inside of her. It could be hurt and pain that was caused in this connection, or it could be hurt and pain that she has from childhood. And she was learning to be vulnerable about that and speak up. But she was also learning to recognize that she has needs and to be assertive about expressing what those needs are. And then when she saw things that I would say, this doesn't serve me, or this, I don't like this, she was learning to speak up for that. And then, she was learning to say no. She may have had a codependent type of a childhood pattern. So if she had trouble saying no, she was learning to say no in this connection. And because it was the end of a cycle, she's not going to do that anymore. So in the new connections that she's with in the future, or what she learned from this situation, she learned how to speak up for herself and to speak up for her needs. Now, what were you learning? Okay, so in a nutshell, this connection was teaching you how to let go. So you were learning to move on and let go. And the reason this was so difficult for you was because you thought of her as this. So this I call the Quan card. Have you ever seen Jerry Maguire? And in Jerry Maguire, he says, I want the Quan. The Quan is everything. It's like, this is the girl that's going to give you the family and the house and the wife and the kids and the everything, the white picket fence kind of ideal dream. So because you got that right next to the star, you put her up on a pedestal and you idealized her as this. However, you were having a scarcity mindset with it. So what that means is like sometimes we get with somebody and we think they're just like the everything. And the thing is we think that we're never going to find anybody as good as they are, or we're never going to find somebody that's all that again. That's the scarcity mindset. Okay, so you were literally kind of in a way blocking yourself from other possible fish in the sea, so to speak, because, you know, this girl was the everything. Okay, but what you were learning, first of all, to let it go. Okay, so you're learning to let go something that you thought was the everything. Okay, but you're learning how to be by yourself. So this is the Hermit card. So you have some codependency patterns. You didn't straight up get the devil, so I wouldn't say it's like hardcore codependency, but you have a problem with being bored. So it's like, it's a feeling of unsatisfactory is what it feels like to me. Like, this is just unsatisfying. It's not like you're depressed or anything like that. It's just more like you're just agitated and bored. And this being by yourself actually causes you to feel that. So it's like you get restless. You don't have peace. You need to be this dude. Do you see how this guy is like, like meditating with birds and shit? So this is what you're learning how to do. This is what this connection is teaching you, okay? So it's teaching you to let go of something that you thought was really, really good. Okay, this is a walking away. This is the letting go card. So see how she's walking away? So you're walking away from something, you know, that you thought you had this way up on a pedestal. So you thought it was the shit. And you're learning to walk away from it. But really, part of the reason why you've put this up so much on a pedestal is you don't like to be alone. You don't like to be alone because it makes you kind of agitated and restless. You get this kind of bored, itchy feeling, like it's uncomfortable in your skin type of a feeling. When you need to be more zen with being alone. So that's what that connection was teaching you about. Now let's see what the connection was really about. All right, so this is super interesting. This is a teaching connection. So you've got growth here. This is the teaching card. This is the mentor card. Okay, so we have lots of different kinds of connections. Even within romantic connections, there is a connection that is a mentoring connection. This is probably one of these connections. My son's dad is a Taurus, and me and him are actually in a mentoring connection. It would be interesting to see what your Myers-Briggs type is and what her type is, because I can tell way better in Myers-Briggs if you have a mentoring connection or not, because it's more explicit about it. But certain Myers-Briggs types are mentoring to each other. So it basically means that when you come into contact with one of your mentoring types, you're going to learn an awful lot from that person. So specifically in this connection, you learned very specific skills on conflict resolution. This could have been a stormy relationship with some fights. Okay, so she was learning to speak up for herself. Both of you guys were learning conflict resolution. Both of you guys were learning emotional literacy through this connection. You also had a skill here in kind of like perseverance. So, you know, sometimes times get tough and you were learning to stick through it, like to stick through the hard, sometimes relationships are work and both people have to take ownership of their shit. And I'm going to do a video on conscious connections probably here in a couple of weeks, and I'll be talking a lot more about this. But this connection could have been one of those more conscious connections where both people were really learning skills and mastering skills about how to communicate through conflict and stick with each other through conflict. And, for you thought this girl was the shit. And for her, she was highly attracted to you and had a whole lot of passion and love for you. So that makes sense that you guys would have tried to, stick it out through thick and thin type of energy. And Pisces and Taurus, that's what they do. That's common for that pairing. Tauruses are usually very persistent. All right, so let's see if this is a cutting cord situation or a unfinished business situation. So first of all, I want to point out something here in her, what she was learning. For her, you completed a cycle for her. Okay, so she doesn't have, for her, it's a done. She doesn't have any reason to learn any more lessons from you because she got this card right here. You, however, do definitely have a love offer in your head. So this is the reconciliation card and this is the love offer. So, you know, these two together, you know, I'm picking up on your energy because you asked for the reading. And you definitely want to at least try for a reconciliation. There's a feeling in you that you may have given up too early. Like there's another chance kind of a feeling. Sometimes this card, when you get it, it's like the grass is greener on the other side, but in this particular position it means the opposite. What you're going back to again is the scarcity mindset. So the scarcity mindset is like, I should stick it out with this one because, you know, this one's really, really good and there's not going to be anybody better than her. That kind of energy. Like the grass isn't greener on the other side, the exact opposite. But that's, Taurus's energy can be like that. Also, when we have a lot of planets in retrograde right now, and when that happens, sometimes we like revisit old stuff. And you might be, with these two cards, you might be over romanticizing what the relationship was. Okay, because this guy here, he's a super romantic dude, okay? So, and this is memories of love. So it's like looking back on a past situation and kind of like romanticizing it in your head and making it out to be something that's bigger or better than it actually was. And there's a reason specifically why I'm saying that, and that's over here. But at the end of the day, it is a learning connection, okay? So this is basically go with your gut. You know, if your gut is really telling you to do this, we'll have confidence and go for it, you know, and maybe contact her and ask her out and see where it goes. I'm just telling you that she has the completion card. So she doesn't necessarily have a reason to learn any more lessons from you, okay? And then here, because you're alone, you could actually be restless and bored, and that may be what's fueling this. All right, so let's look at what's coming for you. Okay, so first of all, you've got the refusing to see. Okay, so you've got the refusing to see on top of delusion. So there is some kind of like romanticizing. There's a romanticizing that you're doing about this connection. And again, you know, you've got this card when it comes to her. So with the star, okay? So you've got the star too, you know? So you think very highly of this person. And you were definitely learning skills on sticking it out and making it work, you know? And you got a feeling here like, you know, you gave up on it too early and maybe you should try again. Okay, so that feeling is very strong in your energy. Okay, but you've got the refusing to see. You've got the delusion. You're possibly romanticizing the situation. Another thing that's happening here is maybe the teamwork with this relationship wasn't as awesome as you think that it was. Like maybe you're romanticizing that it was all great, but in reality, there was some lacking of give and take in the connection. And that could have been what a lot of the fighting was about. All right. But here's what you're not seeing, okay? First of all, there is another love opportunity for you that is coming in. This is a new, well, all right, this can be read two ways, okay? This is a new love. It could be a new person or it could be this reconciled relationship. So if you go in and you want to reconcile and your gut tells you, no, I feel very strongly that I want to do this, you do have a new love coming in. And if it's in this case, then there's a possibility, if you do reconcile with this person, that the patterns, the old patterns that were causing all these storms between the relationship and which made the relationship break up, those could have been transmuted. I would not reconcile with somebody without a transmuted energy. So if those are transmuted and you do have a learning connection, so you guys are in a mentor type of contract, you know, a new love can work in that case. There is a transformation that's coming for you, okay? So the death card doesn't mean death. The death card means transformation. So you're about to go through some kind of personal transformation. Your Saturn is in Scorpio, which means that there is a rising phoenix energy to you that's going to happen in your midlife. So you're going to have a midlife crisis like nobody's business. And it's right about now for you. It's between like now and maybe like 5 years from now. So in the next 5 years, you're going to go through a serious transformation. There is some kind of new project or new passion that you've recently found that the cards are suggesting you go towards that. That may help alleviate this boredom situation. This entire thing of you fantasizing about this connection could actually be about boredom. Okay, so you could have a boredom inside of you because you don't know how to be alone or you don't want to be alone. Okay, so what the cards are saying here is there's some passion that you have, go chase it. Whatever that passion is that you're super enthusiastic about, it's a new project, a new adventure, some kind of new thing, go chase that. Concentrate on that. Your transformation is coming in the next couple years. You were supposed to learn to let go. That was your whole purpose of this connection, was to learn to let go and to learn to be by yourself. Okay, so do what you want. I know you want to make a love offer because that's kind of obvious here, but you need to look at it clearly, okay? Because you're not looking at the connection clearly. You've got the refusing to see card. So you could be fantasizing a little bit in your head. What the cards are telling you to do is go for whatever this new passion or this new adventure is. Concentrate on that. Learn to be by yourself and learn to meditate yourself out of this boredom, or concentrate on this passion when you get bored. All right, that is your reading about this connection, and feel free to ask me questions and I can pull clarifying cards on anything as well. Hope you liked your reading.